Hi, this is Leanne Dehan, multimedia specialist for Industrial Safety and Hygiene News. And today I'm joined by Brian Ciciora, founder and CEO of Truewerk. Welcome, Brian. Thanks for sitting down with me today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Truewerk is an apparel company whose focus is on keeping contractors safe, comfortable, and looking sharp in the workplace. So, taking a moment to consider that last point, do you think it's important for workers to look professional on the job site? And if so, do you think doing so hinders clothing performance at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is sort of an easy one for me to have a perspective on. I hope I do. The answer from our perspective is completely. It's very important that workers look professional on the job site. And our belief is that really shouldn't hinder performance on the job site, really to the other way around. We think that having really technical high performance clothing that not only looks good, but it brings more performance, better stretch, better comfort in hot conditions or cold conditions. The modernization of workwear, I think, is beneficial on all those grounds. And I think one of the big questions is, why should we be looking for people to look professional on the job site? What's the motivation? And we see a number of problems that our customers are looking to address by improving the look and frankly the comfort of their employees with their workwear systems. One of the big ones is trying to recruit and retain new workers. And the old way was to basically get folks on board and give them the cheapest apparel that you could possibly find. And if they were a 34-inch waist and you put them in a 36, it worked because the pants went on them. Didn't matter what they looked like. It didn't matter how comfortable they were. Just as long as they weren't naked, the job was solved and you went on with your business. In today's world, that doesn't really work so well, in part because we need to be able to recruit young men and women into the skilled trades. And in order for them to be drawn into this, they need to have a sense that not only are they going to be comfortable on the job site, but they also want to look the part in society, right? They want to have a sense that what they're doing is important, and that somehow very frequently what we wear and how we look reflects the work that we do and our sense of significance and prominence.
Since your brand caters to those in the skilled trades, could you tell me a little bit about what the skilled trades gap is and how the field is traditionally male dominated?
Well, it is traditionally male dominated, and we're, just to speak to that for a second, we're seeing that change. I don't know that I don't really necessarily love the term male dominated. It has a lot of connotations, which I don't think the industry necessarily is sticking to. I think it's evolving past that. Do I think that tomorrow there's going to be 50-50 men and women on the job site? Maybe not. But when you look at the need for a greater number of skilled workers, it's important that we not exclude, effectively 50% of the population. And we see increasingly women being able to and excited to step into a lot of the roles that were traditionally filled only by men. That's a big part of the future. And it's really exciting to hear and speak to women who come into this and you talk to them about the challenges they face and the stigmas and the cultural dynamic. And, there are things that women on job sites today have to deal with that they shouldn't. But what's really exciting is to hear that's not typically what the women we speak to focus on. They speak to the sense of purpose and professionalism and camaraderie and, working side by side with a team that is exciting and empowering to them. And it's just great to see the evolution to where the downsides aren't necessarily the focus. And we hear a lot of women really excited to be joining the trades and seeing it as a real opportunity. And I often hear this is sort of a pet peeve of mine. I hear this abbreviated sometimes as a skills gap. And, I spend a lot of time on job sites. I spend a lot of time working on job sites and working with our customers. And I have yet to speak to a skilled tradesman or woman who says there's a gap in our skills. This is not a skills gap. The skills are there. There might be a skills gap in the people in the office who don't know how to change their light bulbs and relight their pilot lights. What we need, where the gaps are, in the understanding of what life and work in the skilled trades is all about. Right? There's this misperception that somehow this is a step down, that you join the trades if you can't do other things. If you're not cut out for college, you go to the trades. And that needs to be fixed, because that's not the case, right? Life and work in the skilled trades is amazing. It's fundamentally a step up. At Truewerk, we call it trading up, which is to make the decision to go into the life and work in the skilled trades. So that gap in understanding, to me, is really fundamental. We need to fix this so that people, particularly the young folks coming up, understand that they've got options between a four-year college degree, a vocational education, or frankly, just going and working with people who know what they're doing on a job site and digging in. And again, this is a career path that is multifaceted. It's not, I'm going to go be an electrician today and that's what I'm going to do for the next 40 years. It's, I'm going to study electrical work today, and then I may do plumbing, and then I may get into safety. The evolution of career paths, and a lot of your audience understands this. Very few of the people I know in the safety management profession started there, right? They grew up in other trades, and frankly, those are great folks to work with because they can empathize for what it's like to be the man or woman on the job site. There are gaps in our trade community. I view them not as a lack of skills, but frankly, a lack of understanding in what this is all about and what people in our community do on a daily basis.
So you kind of touched on this when you were talking about looking professional in the workplace, but what are some other ways to maybe empower the skilled trades and encourage new segments of professionals to enter the market?
Well, there's lots of other ways. I think, how we look and how we present is really important. But I also think the words that we use are important. I can't tell you how many people I talk to who use the term professional as opposed to life and work in the trades. Oh, I'm going to go and have a professional career path, as opposed to the trades, right? That word is really important. The people who we serve and provide apparel for, these are professionals through and through. There are so many things that are going right in the trades, from the efforts made by our safety community to the education that's being brought on by people on YouTube and by vocational schools. We need to highlight these things. And so making sure that people are aware, this is guidance counselors, coaches, parents, teachers. We've got to help them understand that the path that's in front of our young folks today in the trades is brilliant. And that going down that route is as much a step up as going to college or doing any other thing that might be considered socially the default today.
So I know you guys have a women's fit product line. So could you tell me a little bit more about that and the development process?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm just, again, going back to the words we use, and I want to just highlight how perfectly you said that. We don't refer to our women's line as a women's line. We refer to it as women's fit. And the reason is that we don't make women's wear and we don't make men's wear. We make performance workwear. And to the extent that the fit is really important to the performance, it was critical that we brought out a fit that was specifically designed for women. If your clothes are too big, you trip on things, you get caught on things, especially your safety community knows this. If you're working at height and you've got clothing that's too baggy, you can't see where your feet are, you can't see and move freely, that's a problem. And so making sure that the fit was right for the women in our community was really important. And our mindset on this is to not create a separate product line. Again, we're taking our best performing and best selling products on the men's fit side and correcting the fit for women. So we began with our T1 and T2 work pants, which are the mainstay of our bottoms and our pant line. That's where most people would start with the brand. It is in a pair of T1 or T2 pants, depending on the season, and brought those out in women's fit. And then the next pieces were our base layers. And if you know a little bit about our approach to workwear, it's all system-based. So the idea is we want to be able to outfit the broadest number of people possible with the fewest number of pieces. It's about efficiency and comfort and performance on the job. So if you're a safety manager or you're putting together a apparel or a uniform program, we want to be able to deliver you a system, base layers, mid layers, and outer layers that keep all of your employees, whether that's 5, 50, or 5,000 folks, comfortable 365 days a year. And at Truewerk, nothing we do implies that we have it perfect. These are all starting points. And so it's important that when we bring new products out, whether those are fit for women or men or whatever it is, we listen to our customers and we recognize that there's always room for improvement. And this has been one of the coolest factors of bringing our women's fit to the market, was that women have been very genuine and helpful in telling us, hey, these are areas where it could be improved. This is working really well. Don't change this. Phone pockets, they're all the same size as our men's product, right? Women's phones are not smaller than men's. So it is important that with each of these pockets, they're designed the same way, because the tools and the phones and all of that don't get smaller for women. We need to make sure the pockets are the same size. The colors are exactly the same. The cuts that we don't, it's not a low cut shirt. It's the same collar height. Women don't like sawdust down their shirts any more than men do. So these are all factors that we've worked really hard to maintain the performance of the product as we make the fit right for women.
Some other companies are venturing into PPE for like women's fit. So what makes your line different and why? You kind of like touched on like the different things, like you're paying attention to the pockets and the collar and everything like that. So is there something else you'd like to add, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think really importantly is where you start with the product matters. And we start with the fabrics, the yarns, the thread, and engineer from the ground up. And having really high performance fabric is the foundation of technical workwear. Our T1, T2, T3 pant fabrics, for example, are double woven soft shell fabrics. Nobody else in the industry is using these like we are. The double woven gives you a really soft surface on the inside and a really abrasion resistant surface on the outside. So this, if you can see on the inside, is the very soft surface against your skin. And then the outside of the pen is very tough, abrasion resistant, water resistant. That beginning point, four-way stretch, it's not just a little tiny bit of give added to cotton canvas fabric that's been around for 150 years. It's totally reinventing the fabric. And it's interesting because women oftentimes can appreciate this. The women have been wearing four-way stretch fabrics, whether those are yoga pants or others, for a long time. And when you take women and put them in a pair of cotton canvas pants that don't stretch, they're like, no, we're not going to wear this. Why would we do this? You guys are crazy. And so women are wonderful in the sense that their standard is actually higher than men's in many cases. And when they feel the stretch and they feel the performance of our fabrics, they recognize that immediately and appreciate it. And so I think that is the biggest difference. We're focused on keeping the functionality of the men's product in terms of pockets and so forth, but starting from a better fabric package that's got better durability, better stretch, better performance and comfort, to me is the biggest advantage across the board.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining me, Brian.
This has been great. I appreciate you having me on.
And thank you all for watching. This has been Leanne Dehan with Industrial Safety and Hygiene News.